it, right?
Okay.
So President Donald J. Trump's rhetoric targeting black mayors this year for the alarming loss of over 300,000 jobs held by black women in recent months. We're going to be also examining the Supreme Court decision, which was 6-3, allowing ICE agents to resume detaining individuals based on appearance, language, job, or location. Basically, an advanced version of stop and frisk, which was in New York City back in the early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
Effectively, what this is doing is greenlighting racial profiling.
Absolutely. So this is kind of disturbing. So to understand, there's been a massive job loss for black women in America this year. In fact, 319,000 black women have lost their jobs across the private and public sector. But what's been more interesting is that white women have gained 142,000 jobs.
Yep.
Hispanic women added 176,000 jobs, and white men saw an increase of 365,000 jobs.
Wow.
So do you guys think that there's an attack? I believe, I'm going to say I do, but what do you guys think that post, Kamala Harris running for president, how supportive black women were in her campaign, that this is the way that the administration is trying to get back at black women?
Mickey?
Honestly, it sounds like it. That's what it sounds like to me.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause how else would that be happening, or why else would it be happening? I think it's unfortunate for sure.
Well, I mean, I'll say this, and this time last year we were arguing whether or not Kamala Harris was black or not.
That is true.
Yeah.
And now we have the effects of the election, which is that women are losing their jobs. And we have to make sure that we support and definitely protect black women in multiple ways. The way they get treated. I think we did. I don't know if we touched on it even when you were in the House. Did you felt race was part of what was going on in some of the things that were happening in the House? Like, because it's kind of like I guess it's a hierarchy. It's some sort of, there's a community there. Do you think race played a part in your exit?
So I'll say this. I'm not sure if race played a part in my exit, but I do think race could have potentially played a part in how I was received. I will say that, just because, of course, I think there was a lot of things that I did in that house that were very similar to others that did not look 100% like me, that were more accepted and not as ridiculed as the things that I did personally. And so when it comes down to that, you look at it and say, okay, then what else could it be? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I'm sitting with that right now. I do think a lot of people had a lot of things to say about me when I came out, about certain things and conversations and demeanor and the confidence, calling it, a whole lot of other things. But when I compare myself to other house guests, I feel as though we did similar things, but there's no hate in regards to what they did. So I can only look at a couple of things.
So you treated differently. The same behavior was treated differently.
I think so. I think the same behavior was perceived differently, for sure.
Got it.
Yes, from the viewers.
To jump into what you were saying, Isaac, I think it's easy to say that VP Harris was probably the most qualified candidate, at least in the last 100 years, right?
I agree with that.
Absolutely.
And to lose to Donald J. Trump, and unfortunately, it was not a close victory. America chose who they wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I say that to say that the perception of black women as a result of media is really lacking. And this ties into what we were even saying last week, right? When do we stand up and defend our own? And that's the question I'm posing to you.
I mean, well, I'm always in defense. I've been very, very outspoken about how we need to be having these conversations, not just segments on radio shows or pages, but it needs to be a ever, evolving conversation. I think that I think this is definitely a wake up call for our community, and it should be, especially based off what's going on with the Supreme Court, because people understand, like, ICE can now stop you. And I want to be clear, ICE can now stop you based on your appearance. They can stop you based on your accent. They can stop based on your race, your location, or your job. So, and what I want to explain to people is ICE is not going after just Latino people. So my point to black people out there in America that supported Trump Do you think that ICE is going to be able to tell the difference between a Haitian person, a Jamaican person, and a black person? Do you think so?
Not at all. There's
Exactly. They're not going to be able to tell the difference.
Probably not.
So if you're walking down the street and ICE thinks that you're a Haitian or a Jamaican person, you just happen to be an American citizen, what are you going to do about that? What's going to happen? How are you going to handle that? And what lessons are we going to learn from that?
I mean, we saw it happen. Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez, who was a citizen in Florida, Hispanic man, he was detained wrongfully, and he was an American citizen, right? So we're going to see more and more of that increasing. And even extending that thought, I was thinking about our conversation from last week with Miss Tamisha Harris, and I think how we change this narrative is going back to what you said before, right? We need to start funding our own communities, our own brands, our own businesses. At the end of the day, I believe it all comes down to money and where we're putting our dollars.
I mean, look, one of the reasons why this platform exists is because it's an infrastructure play as well. Yeah. Like when these stories are being talked about, like I don't hear a lot of stories about Black women losing their jobs on social media. And if we're not having these conversations consistently, one time is not enough. One time is not enough to talk about Black women being targeted and losing their jobs. One segment is not enough. One post is not enough. And we need to make sure that we're understanding that, because there are elections coming up. There are opportunities for us to take back our power, and even way before then, even organize in how we're going to be able to defend against this, I guess this version of Jim Crow 2.0 that is coming down the pipeline, or really is already here.
I agree. I think the biggest thing that you just said that I agree with is the awareness part. I don't think a lot of people know even the job situation at all. Obviously, I'm clueless because I've been gone, but no one even mentioned that to me as even a big thing that I should have known about while being gone.
Yeah.
I think our community has no idea that these things are happening to us.
I mean,
which is huge because it's us,
Yeah. And I think, again, every time I was meeting someone, they were like, yeah, I got laid off from all these corporate jobs, especially jobs in government, federal jobs. There was some conversation that Victor Blackwell was having on, from CNN was having on, and it was really disturbing because it was a Black woman defending the loss of Black women's jobs. Like she was just, I don't know what she was doing about that. I don't know why she was doing that, but I felt that was, I don't know what side of the game she on, but it wasn't really real, in my opinion. I was like, sister, what are you talking about? Like, oh yeah, but DEI helped a lot of people. So,
especially in government. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is, I want to get into that, double down on that. What do you think these staff cuts, these new ICE policies, how do you think this will affect Black women in communities of color?
Well, economically, it's hard. And so Black men need to step up and start supporting Black women. If you know somebody needs a job, refer people that need jobs. Fine, if you can hire and help people out in places of employment, because somebody always screwing up every day. So somebody get fired every day, and there's a qualified Black woman to take that role. So we need to make sure that most people get their jobs from people referring them. Most people are like, oh, I'm gonna refer you to the job, and then, well, that's how you get the gig. So we need to start referring our friends and neighbors to find places where they can find employment. I get those questions again all the time. We are currently hiring. Hopefully we'll be in position to hire more. Our last 4 hires were African-American hires, 2 women, 2 men.
Yeah.
Just joined.
You're right.
We talked Quincy, Maria, Ashley, and Lauren.
Yeah.
Those are the last 4 hires at Fanbase that we did make.
Yeah, all brilliant and talented on that.
Got brilliant and talented people.